welcome to Ashley's Kitchen. School is out and the garden has come in, well at least some of it. We've got so much kale right now we almost can't keep up with it. So what I'm going to do today is make some kale chips. If you've never had these, they're pretty good. They're a nice way to eat kale if you have some people in your house who aren't so sure that they want to try it. So I have checked each leaf for worms, which if you get them out of your garden, you probably need to do. And I've washed these. And then I'm going to use my salad spinner because you really don't want these leaves to be really wet for this. So this is a handy little thing for washing lettuce and kale and leafy things like that. All right, let's see how it is. Okay, all that extra water in there. That's great that it pulls that out. Okay, so while that sits there, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip this around and give it another pull because some of this is a little bit wet underneath. And I would like this to be a little drier. So let's go at it maybe one more time here. All right. Kind of like starting your weed eater or something. All right, let's call that good enough. Now this is really simple. All you need to do, some olive oil and some salt. I'm going to add some pepper. I like pepper on these, so I'm going to add my pink Himalayan salt to my olive oil. Put that where you can see it. And I'm going to add some pepper. And I am not measuring, I'm just putting in. And you also want to grease your pans. So I have 2 baking sheets with sides here. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to put a little bit of my olive oil in each pan and then just brush that around. You really don't want your kale leaves to stick. And hopefully if you do a good job getting the oil and salt and pepper mixed all over them, they wouldn't stick anyway, but just in case we don't mix it well enough, I'm going to oil the pans here. Okay. So we are ready now for our kale. And I'm going to kind of try to evenly spread these, put them out on these pans. And this is kind of a nice recipe because it's not really a science. You just kind of wing it. Now, if you look online, the temperatures are kind of all over the place for doing kale chips. So I kind of looked at different recipes and chose 275. There was one I think lower, there was one higher. So I thought, okay, we'll just kind of pick one of these a little bit in the middle. So about 275. And if you have convection bake on your oven, go ahead and use that for this because it helps them get more evenly done and it may help with the crunch a little bit. And once these are done and begin to cool, they should get even a little bit crunchier. So the last time I made these, which was one day earlier this week, there was maybe one piece that for some reason didn't get crunchy. But the others were crunchy and they were really tasty. Now something that I didn't do in this for these kale chips, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just stirring them around to really try to get the oil all over them. But what I was saying, something that I didn't do last time, and I didn't do it this time either, you can actually kind of take the kale off of the stem because the stem, the thick part of the stem isn't very pleasant to eat. Or you can just kind of leave that on there for something for your kids to hold on to while they eat around it. Kind of like a, shall we say, a kale popsicle. So if you'll mix for a little bit, Don't be too quick to stop. You'll see that the leaves start really getting covered in the oil, and that's what you want. You want them nice and covered in the salt, pepper, and oil. So don't be too quick to give up on this and think, well, it's just not working, it's just not coming together. Give it some time, and you'll see them starting to coat up nicely, starting to look a little different, and that's what you want. So I'm going to go back while that sits a little bit. Go back to the first pan. This leaf cannot decide which pan it wants to be in. All right. So we're going to keep stirring that just a little bit. I've got my oven preheating to 275. So it should be ready pretty soon. This is a really quick recipe and a nice way to eat kale, other than steaming it and serving it with vinegar or something like that. This is something your kids might enjoy for a snack even. If you have leftovers of this stuff, you can seal it up and keep it for maybe 2 to 3 days. So you could mix up a whole bunch of this stuff and keep it as a nice summertime snack. Actually, kale is a cool weather vegetable, so we still have it, and it's been really hot lately, but I'm not sure how much longer it'll last. So now's when you want to eat it, late spring. So, and kale is very good for you. All right, we're going to call that well enough. And spread. You want to spread it out because you want them as much as possible to be not all over each other, not on top of each other as much as you can. And so, let's see how close our oven is. 275. I didn't hear it beep. Did you hear it beep, Rebecca? Oh, okay. Rebecca says that it has beeped. So, it is ready. All right, I'm going to put a little bit over here. I think I have too much on that pan. All right, you want to see how this looks before we put it in? Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to put this in the oven and set it for about 20 minutes. And you can, about halfway through, maybe about 15 minutes in or so, you can flip your pans around to help it get evenly baked. I'm going to first set it for 20 and check it. It may not be done at 20, so we'll see how much it ends up taking, but probably around 10 or 15 minutes into it, I'll flip the pans, and then we'll see what it's doing at 20 minutes, and it may have to go longer. So here we go, 20 minutes, and we'll hopefully remember to check it at about 10 or 15 minutes, flip the pans around. So don't go away. Let's see how our kale chips turn out today. We're back here at Ashley's kitchen, and our buzzer's going off. I flipped the pans around while it was baking. So let's see if this kale chips that are done. If not, we'll just stick them in for a little bit longer. All right. And how do you tell if they're done? That's a good question, because if they get crunchier while they cool, how crunchy do they need to be when you first pull them out? So let's check them out. Oh, they're getting there. Can you see that? That's really cool. All right. Ah, hear that crunch? Excellent. So I think they're really close. There's still some that aren't so crunchy, and we could kind of flip some of these around a little bit. So I'm going to move some of these around and then stick them back in for maybe 5 more minutes. So we set it for 5 more minutes, and let's see how it is. Okay. Oh, I'm smelling it. That's kind of a nice smell. All right. I think we're going to call that good. Now, turn my oven off, and let me bring this over there so you can see it a little better. Can you look at that? I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but it gets really crunchy, some of it. Can you hear that crunch? All right, let's check this out. It is so crunchy. And it's falling all over the place. So, you need to try this. If you're trying to eat healthier, here's something you might want to try. Your kids might enjoy trying it out.